What's going on, guys? So, as you know, I'm working on a novel called Something. My WattPad handle is Trurkery, and that is spelled the same way as you see on this channel. Um, but anyway, this is a drawing I made of the 5th grade class that's presented in that book. Just to note, this is the class in the second timeline, not the original timeline. In the original timeline, Ikjot was not in the 5th grade, he was in the 6th. But in the new timeline, he lies his way into being in the 5th grade class. That way he can spend more time with Xandra, whichever. So here we go. This first character here, crap, I didn't adjust the screen properly, so you're seeing some gray up there, but whatever. Um, well, actually, maybe I can fix it a little bit. Let's see. No, I can't. Oh well. I guess a little gray is just gonna be up there. This is Mrs. Ives. This is the 5th grade teacher. Just so you to clarify, the school's name is Our Lord's Appearance Catholic Church and School. I accidentally put an extra what do you call it, quotation mark there. But the full name of the school is Our Lord's Appearance Catholic Church and School. Uh, anyway, this is Mrs. Ives. She is the teacher of the 5th grade in the 2005 to 2006 year that Ikjot attends this place. Uh, this is her appearance fully here. She's a koala, as you can see. Uh, she wears this light blue shirt. She has these dark blue jeans. Um, she has these sandals. These are her koala feet. Uh, yeah, that's Mrs. Ives. Then let's just keep scrolling toward the left. This is one of the students, Yam Final. I think that's how you say her name. But she is a gray horse, as we see here. She's wearing the feminine version of the school uniform. It's a black polo, short sleeve. That little white stuff you're seeing there that my little mouse is going over, that technically is the text that says Our Lord's Appearance Catholic Church and School. That's the name of the school, plastered onto the upper right side of the shirt, or upper left side if it's from your angle wearing it. Uh, all the females wear this plaid skirt pattern here, and they all are required, both males and females, to wear these brown shoes and the blue shirt. But specifically, the plaid skirt is for the female students. The males wear gray shorts, except Ikjot, who wears long dress pants because he makes the excuse in this second version of the timeline that his legs get cold and that he sneezes a lot, which is true. He does sneeze a lot, uh, especially at that age. This next student here is Cornicia Houlihan. She's a fox, technically vixen, but Ikjot at this time in the story always just calls them female foxes instead of vixen, which is technically the correct term, I believe. Anyway, this is Cornicia Houlihan here. And, sorry, there's one thing I'm forgetting to do real quick, so let me just start off. Mrs. Ives, in terms of her personality, there's not really much personality to her, I want to say. It's sad to say, but true. She's not really that big of a character in this. She's just simply a teacher. She is maybe like a bit like arrogant, I want to say. She always is taking the side of the people who are aren't innocent over the people who are. So, like, there's some students, as you'll find in this story, in this class specifically, that get picked on a lot and different stuff. And she's one of those teachers that takes the side of the bully. So she's a bit of a doofus in that respect. Yam Phono here, she's kind of a mediator personality, I want to say. She's not really on the side of the mean queek in this class, but she's not really on the side of the people who are considered the outcast or the nerds, whatever. She's kind of just like in between both sides. She just kind of does her own thing, whatever that thing is, but she's not really on either side in that. She's kind of just almost in her own little world, but not quite. Quinicia is one of the outcasts. There's Quinicia. There is Zandy Kook. There is Nydia Yarbrough. And there is Kip Whalen, who are kind of the outcast in this class. You'll see them in a moment. Um, as I just mentioned, Zandy Kook, this is her here. She's a bat. She's probably the shortest person in the class, I want to say. But yeah, that is Zandy Kook. Her personality, well, first, Quinicia Houlihan's personality. Quinicia Houlihan is just a nice girl, basically. Not nice enough to be friends with Ikjot, but still nice nonetheless. This person here, Yam Final, isn't nice enough to be friends with Ikjot either. She's just doing her own thing, like I was mentioning before. Pretty much no one on this roster is really a friend of Ikjot's. Um, there's some stuff I want to say about that going into detail, but I don't want to risk spoiling anything for the book. Anyway, yeah, Zandy Kook. Again, like I said, I'm not going to keep on mentioning it. I'm just going to get it out the way now. None of these characters starting off in the story are Ikjot's friends, like, at all. They don't really like him that much. Anyway, Zandy Kook, she's kind of a wild card. She's an oddball. She's pretty expressive. She does weird stuff. She has a bit of a crazy side to her. Not like a dangerous crazy side, but she's just pretty excitable, I want to say. Pretty fun person to be around, usually. Then this is Kendall Adamek. She's kind of a mediator personality also, kind of like Yam, I want to say, more or less. Uh, she, but she does wind up siding with the outcasts more than the cool kids, pretty much off the bat. She's not immediately a student in this class when the semester starts in the fall. She doesn't really join this school until like the spring semester, early January kind of thing. That's really when Kendall Adamek comes into the picture. As you can see, she is a cheetah. So, woo! For all you people who are waiting for a cheetah to be a character in this, yeah, here you go. This is Helena Zaver. As you can see, she is a small, very short bear with lemon-colored fur. She is the younger sister of Xandra Dodd. She is also considered by her peers to be the hottest person in all the class. All the boys agree that she is the hottest person in their class. All the girls agree that she's the hottest person in their class. But Helena, because of this, Xandra, her older sister, envies her quite a bit, and it is shown throughout the story based on her actions toward Helena. But Xandra does not like her little sister, mainly out of jealousy, because everybody always is saying how pretty she is, and they don't say the same thing about Xandra. So yeah, Xandra is pretty jealous of Helena. Then here's your boy. Here is my caricature in this. Uh, this is but I don't use my real name in this. I am a frog, a Kujamook cricket frog in this story, and I go by the name Ikjot Harsharan in this story. So there's a lot to unpack with Ikjot, but I'm going to try to be as brief as possible because I'm trying to make this as short as possible so that way the video doesn't last too long. It doesn't take up too much space on my computer. But basically, Ikjot, this is his second time in this timeline. The first time that Ikjot Harsharan was in this timeline, he messed up. He didn't really talk to anyone. He says that, but to be specific, it was the female peers of his who he really wasn't responding to when spoken to. When they would ask him different stuff or try to get him to speak, he would always just sit there with his head down, being super shy and whatnot. It caused him to not be liked by them. They did not want to be his friends over time because they thought that he was just closed off or whatever it was, that he was slow, that he was stupid, whatever. And he was especially hurt by this because the girl he wound up having the biggest crush on, Xandra, felt the same way. So what does he do? Of course, in this story, he eventually comes across his time machine and he uses it to travel back to the past. Time machine causes him to revert to being a kid again, as we can see here. These are all 5th grade students, by the way. They're all around 10 or 11 years old, including Ikjot, who is in this timeline for a second time. His body reverted in the machine to being a kid again as well, like the rest of them. But he is still 1 year older. He's like 12 years old at this time. But again, he lied about his age or something to get in the same class with Xandra this time around, because in the first time he was in the 6th grade, not the 5th grade. So this time he is in the 5th grade based on a lie, just to be able to be in the same class with Xandra, his crush. But this time around, prior to using the time machine, he also found this multicolored pebble that he ate. It gave him more confidence. He had already learned how to talk to people as it was, but the pebble just ensures that he definitely will be, as we can see, this snazzy guy here. You know, he's like flirting with the girls in the class. He's acting like a stud, muffin, whatever. He's being very expressive. As you can see, Helena's like, what the heck is going on with this guy? Why is he next to me right now? but yeah. Then this bunny, this rabbit here, is Joseph Heiner. We are now getting into the classroom Mean Girls, although Joseph, as the story progresses, just kind of drifts away from that. She doesn't really subscribe to it too much as time goes on. She, if anything, becomes more of a friend toward the uncool kids than the cool kids. But yeah, this is Joseph Heiner. She is part of Xandra's 3-person clique, which consists of Joseph. Then this character that I'm about to scroll to on the left is Winfred Odie. Then the character on the left of Winfred is Xandra Dodd, who is the leader of the Mean Girls clique, basically. And Joseph Heiner here is one of those girls. This next character here is Winfred Odie. She is a deer. But yeah, that's Winfred. In the original timeline, she was actually the one who Ikjot eventually befriended back on a social media website, where Winfred spilled the beans about how the girls only acted nice to Ikjot despite his quiet demeanor because they were making fun of him. They found him to be a joke for not talking to anyone when spoken to. Yeah. When he found out that Xandra called him ugly, a weirdo, and a loser behind his back, that hurt him as well. And when he tried to friend request her on that social media website back in 2008. She rejected the first time, but then he eventually sent it again, and she accepted that time. And at the time, her father, Glendon Dodd, uh, had passed away, so Xandra was being um, pretty standoffish toward everyone, even people who were her friends at the time. Um, but when she finally did accept his friend request, she pretended not to even remember who Ikjot was, even though at previous dances she was the one who showed him how to dance like her and her friends, even though she was the one who sat right in front of him to his face, asking him who he liked in their school, saying that they wouldn't tell anyone. Ikjot didn't respond, but regardless, she knew who Ikjot was. She was just being mean, pretending not to know who he was, just to be cruel. But this is the new timeline that he arrives to, where he is hoping to fix that. Um, but yeah, anyway, this is Winfred Odie, and Winfred actually wrongs Ikjot too, because when Ikjot is getting all depressed about realizing that Xandra hates him in the original timeline, Winfred eventually abandons Ikjot. She tells him to go tell someone else about his drama, basically that she doesn't care about him expressing her problems to him, even though she always expresses her problems to him whenever she is sad. But in that respect, Winfred Audie is a hypocrite. She's also pretty cruel to Nydia Yarbrough, a smaller girl in the class who is seen as weird by everybody. So this is not a good person. Winfred Audie is not a good person. She is a bad person. Stay away. um, then here is the main villain, of course, of the first half of the book, Xandra Dodd. This is her. She, like her younger sister, is a bear with lemon-colored fur. Specifically, if you notice, the lemon-colored fur on Xandra is a slightly different shade than Helena Zaver's. But just so you all know, because Ikjot is the one describing these appearances, since the book is spoken in first person, he's not always going to be the best descriptor of these people, I want to say. He will constantly be slipping up, describing different stuff about these people, saying the wrong things about their appearance. We're relying on Ikjot Harsharon to tell this story, and he is not the best descriptor, so just so y'all know, that's where that comes from. If you come across any confusing descriptions of people or descriptions of people in this book that just don't sound right, it's because this guy here is the one narrating, and we are at his mercy. Lord help us to tell us how these people look. But, yeah. Anyway, this is Xandra Dodd here. She is the second tallest person in the class. If you will notice, Yam Funo is probably the tallest, with Xandra being the second tallest. And of course, even taller than Yam Funo is the adult here, Mrs. Ives, the big koala lady. But anyway, this is Xandra over here. She, while her sister Helena may be considered the hottest girl in the class, Xandra Dodd is considered the highest of the cool in her class. She is the fifth grade mean girl, probably the mean girl of the whole school itself. But she is the leader of the first clique, which is consisting of herself, Winfred, and Joseph. Cassandra will smile in people's faces to pretend to be their friends, then go behind their back and say horrible, nasty stuff about them, cruel things that makes her and her girls here laugh about them behind their backs. She is not a good person starting off in the story at all. She is very cruel, in fact. In the original timeline, she has her boyfriend in the future beaten brutally, destroys the photos he has as a last memory of his mother who died. So Xandra is quite the monstrous adversary, at least in the first half of the story. I won't go into too much detail on that, but just know that Xandra does undergo development, I will say. In fact, most of these characters will, if not all. But again, I'm not gonna go into too much spoiling detail of that. Then this person here, Orabelle Nunnan, is the leader of the second clique, which consists of Orabelle herself, Piper Coe, and Volita Hoyt here. You can see the name. Uh, but this is Orabelle. Her clique is supposed to be the nice girl clique, but Orabelle and Piper are not necessarily that nice. So take that as you will. As you can see, Orabelle is this horse. She will typically be on Xandra's side, even if for some reason everyone else has turned against Xandra. Orabelle might turn against Xandra herself for a little while, be mad at her, but then afterwards, Orabelle will just go right back to being Xandra's little stooge, pretty much. She will just pretty much be however Xandra is because she is spineless. But that is Orabelle. Uh, yeah. And then this is Piper Coe. Piper Coe is this golden mouse girl, as you can see. She is obsessed with herself. She can also be cruel and backstabby. Um, and her father does not like amphibians like Ikjot. Her father, as she says, is a proud racist who cannot stand amphibians, and Piper really cannot stand amphibians either. In fact, Xandra also makes fun of amphibians. I'm pretty sure Winfred has her opinions about amphibians. I'm pretty sure Orabelle has her opinions about amphibians. I'm pretty sure Joseph might. I'm pretty sure Helena Xaver might. Maybe Kendall Ademic does not. Maybe she does. Who knows? Zandy Kook is part of a minority species, the bats. So she does not have opinions about amphibians, but she does have opinions about Ikjot nonetheless. Quenisha Houlihan, who knows? Maybe she has racist views on amphibians. Who knows? Yam Fino, uh, she doesn't have a negative opinion on amphibians. She accepts their kind, but she does have an opinion on Ikjot. And Mrs. Ives, well, who really knows what she thinks about amphibians? Um, but yeah, anyway, back to Piper Coe over here. Yeah, it's just why, like really. Um, Anyway, Volita Hoyt over here, Koala Girl. She's nice. She's part of Orabelle Piper, uh, part of Orabelle's little clique here, which is the three of them. But Volita does not really last too long as one of the clique members because she's just a nice girl. She's just nice, and when Orabelle and Piper, are not nice, which is going to be a lot in the story, she's not really going to be present for a lot of their shenanigans. She doesn't really subscribe to that kind of stuff. She's a nice girl, just not nice enough to really be that close with Ikjot. I think in the original timeline, she speaks with him a little bit when he reaches out to her on social media, but then they just kind of drift apart afterwards. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Then this little ball of excitement here is Nydia Yarbrough. She is a raccoon. I forgot to mention, or maybe I didn't, but I'll just mention real quick. Volita Hoyt is a koala. Nydia Yarbrough is a raccoon. A lot of the other peers of hers at this school says that she talks to herself, that she's weird. Whether that is true or not, we do not know. Maybe Nydia does talk to herself. But regardless, a lot of students at this school do not like Nydia. Xandra is the main person. Xandra and her girls are the main people who bully Nydia. Orabelle is a disgusting person because at first she is Nydia's friend. At first she is helping Nydia to adapt to being a member of Xandra's clique. But Xandra, Winfred, and Yosef eventually say a bunch of mean stuff about Nydia to her face. And they make Nydia run away crying. And then Orabelle also turns her back on Nydia because Nydia is now an outcast. So yeah, basically these girls were leading Nydia on, making her believe that they were her friends when really they were not. Horrible, horrible, scummy people on that side. Scums of the universe, whatever. So then Nydia is now an outcast. Uh, Eventually, Nydia is befriended by Ikjot's sister. More on that in a sec. Uh, this little hippo boy here is Kip Whalen. He has a crush on Nydia, but there are a lot of times in the story where we hardly see him. Maybe his crush is superficial. Maybe he is interested, but at the same time not really that interested. I don't know. Maybe he's not interested enough to really pursue things too far. But regardless, he is known basically for having a crush on Nydia. That's pretty much all it really is to Kip Whelan's character. Well, that and also Kip is more of a nice boy compared to the other two boys who usually hang around him, which are these two guys here. I'll get to them in a sec. But this person in the middle, is Ikjot's sister, Venanti Harsharan. Ikjot is really scared when she shows up because he knows that if his family finds out that he's attending this school without their knowledge, in the second timeline that he's in now, where they haven't found out about the school yet, like they did in the original timeline, they will likely take him away from the school, and then he can't be around Xandra to undo his mistakes. But Xandra, by that point in the story, has revealed her mind control abilities to Ikjot, or will reveal them rather, so she uses her mind control to ensure that Ikjot cannot escape her wrath that she has planned for him ever so cruelly. And she uses her mind control powers. Yes, Xandra has mind control. Sorry, I did fail to mention that. Xandra has super strength and she has mind control. Orabelle also has super strength, just no mind control. But anyway, Xandra uses her mind control to make Ikjot's family forget who he is. That way they don't risk taking him away from the school. That way he can be susceptible to whatever she is planning to do to stab him in the back once again. But yeah. So Venanti pretty quickly forgets Ikjot as her brother because of Xandra's power that she uses on her here. But Venanti does serve the purpose of teaching Nydia how to defend herself. And Nydia does do a pretty good job, I will say, eventually in the story of being able to do that. But anyway, yeah, so that's Ikjot's sister Venanti. This guy right next to her is Rye Clatches. He is one of those boys who just likes to get under the girl's skin. Maybe he feels like he's outnumbered in that class because there are so many female students compared to just the four boys that are himself, Grayson, and Kip. Or maybe he doesn't consider Ikjot to be one of the boys. Maybe he just considers Ikjot to be a thing, or whatever's wrong with this doofus here. But he is a mouse, as you can see. He's not really looking at Venanti in this picture, I want to clarify. He's not really looking at Venanti. He's not. He doesn't have a crush on Venanti. He has a crush on himself because he is a disgusting narcissist. He's full of himself. He doesn't care about any of these girls. He's actually looking at Kip Whalen in a teasing manner because he thinks that Kip is a loser for liking Nydia. But yeah, that's Rye Clatches. He also often gives Xandra and her girls trouble until Ikjot makes up this fake diary that makes Rye and the other boys think that Xandra actually cares for them. And that makes Rye not be cruel to them anymore. Then this squirrel, last but not least, is Grayson Yearling. And he is Rye Clatch's partner in crime, as you can see by his face here. Just another bad dude. He's also kind of into himself as well. He's kind of a narcissist too, just like Rye Clatches is. These two are both troublemakers when it comes to the girls. Quatches actually throws a ball in Nydia's face at one point, but that is based on a lie that Xandra tells Rai about Nydia, saying that Nydia made fun of him behind his back, basically, and that's how she manipulates Rai into hurting Nydia. So yeah, again, Xandra, disgusting person. Rai, Grayson, you two are also disgusting. But yeah, these are pretty much all the characters here on this little panel. It took me at least 2 days, well, maybe like a whole day's worth of work to make this whole thing. I will post it on my DeviantArt. But anyway, I hope y'all like this. Make sure to subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a good one.